call this meeting to order of the Lincoln County Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the county school system's business. There's a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda item public comments. The meeting is being live streamed and a video copy of the meeting will be on the board's website within 5 working days. Get started. I'll ask Mr. Mosteller to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And that takes us to roll call. We have Mr. Mosteller in person, Ms. Burns in person, myself in person, Ms. McComas, and Mr. Wilson is joining us on the phone. Takes us to agenda item 3, levy rates. We're putting these on review. These have been on your left-hand side of the packet. They've also been emailed to you. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Lucas here, I'm sure could answer any questions we had.
Yeah, his rate, their rates are given to us via the assessor's office. I key them in. If there's no changes, we'll approve them in April and submit them to the tax commissioner then as well. And I will publish them in the paper following tonight's meeting.
Okay. With that, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Burns seconds. McComas. Burns makes a motion, for McComas seconds, I'm sorry. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller, Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
and yay, 5-0. Takes us to item 6, suspension of action. Ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Ms. McComas makes a motion.
I'll second.
Mosteller seconds.
I'll
Miss-
vote yes.
Ms. Burns is a yay. Ms. McComas?
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson?
Mr. Wilson, you still,
Yes.
okay, gotcha.
Yes, sorry.
Yay.
That's okay.
Cartwright's yay, that's 5-0. With that, we'd ask for a motion to adjourn into our regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Burns makes a motion.
I'll second it.
McComas seconds. And Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller?
Yay.
Ms. McComas?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Yay, 5-0. Takes us on to, we are adjourned. And then we'll just take up our regular meeting. Call to order, roll call hasn't changed. I don't think we need to do the pledge again. It takes us to agenda item 3, public comment. No public comment. Take us into agenda item 4, instructional leadership. We have Ms. Shortridge.
Hello again. I'm gonna pass this around really quick to start. Okay, so Mr. Barnett had asked me to come to kind of give you an update based on our 3-hour early release and then our PL day that immediately followed. And so the first step was we asked teachers on that 3-hour early release to take data, iReady and the Cambium benchmarks. If they were high school, we used IXL data. And they took that data and then they drilled down to the 3 weakest standards for ELA and for math per grade level. And then they submitted them to me and their principal. And then what we did is we took, and I gave you some samples, we took these weakest standards and I color coded them based on schools. And then we documented any patterns, okay? So some of the patterns that were noted, then as a curriculum team, we took that and we've made a document that we're going to use for our summer planning. So this is what we'll use to document or develop supplemental resources for teachers and for principals. Because what we noticed is, number one, there are some patterns in our curriculum if you look, for example, in kindergarten, rhyming words was a one of the weakest standards at all 5 elementary schools. So that tells me that's a curriculum problem, or maybe more specifically, it's the way it's presented to kids to where they're not generalizing. The other thing that we noted for ELA is that those skill gaps just continue to carry within grade levels. So from kindergarten, they start with recognizing letters into words, and then the gaps become informational text, main idea, topic, and it turns from informational into literary around 3rd grade. And that is because our text changes. So we are heavy on literary text K2, and then it turns into informational text. So that tells us we need to bring in some supplemental resources, maybe even some cross-curricular things with social studies and science to supplement these learning gaps. And so that was our big focus. And then we took that data, so we took these standards and we broke down teachers by grade bands and we brought them in. And we did very strategic professional development with them based on these standards. So for K2 band, we chose a commonality standard, and then we pulled in supplemental resources. And Ms. Dunlap led a really great activity, and then we made sure that they knew all about the resources that we have through iReady, through lots of things. And then Mr. Sanson was in the other room doing PD for 3 through 5, and then we rotated. And we brought the middle school in the afternoon and did a very specific ELA and math PD. So it was based on what our data said, and then we asked teachers to choose the standard that they feel like would make the most difference, meaning what's tested the most according to the testing blueprints and the GSA. What standard gets you the most bang for your buck, so to speak, and how is that going to help students generalize the skills to move to the next grade level? And so they chose a standard, and then we deconstructed those standards and pulled in resources. And I gave you kind of a sample. This is a math, I believe it's a math sample. But we deconstructed the sample, and then we were very strategic in how we wanted the math to look. And so we made sure that they used various math representations, which is research-based, and it's also through the Math Habits of Mind. It's habit number 3. And so we did what's called the CRA model, which is very research-based, where the teachers deconstructed that standard, and then they developed concrete, representational, and abstract examples for each math item. So that was the math. And then for ELA, we really looked at different text sources. So informational text, we actually put out our social studies textbooks and showed how easy it would be, because when you get up to the higher, the 6, 7, 8 bands, then you notice that a lot of it is analyzing various resources. One of them might be a picture or multimedia. And so we brought in some of those texts to make sure teachers understood how easy that could look and how that can work cross-curricular. So the other thing for middle school math that we had a little bit more time to do with them was misconceptions. So what are some common misconceptions that students might have that they move to the next grade band and they haven't been corrected? And so we worked through that, again, with our CRAs and with our planning. And so our goal is to, this summer, we've done the math folders, but to really supplement very specific resources that are going to support these weak standards. Because some of it's a curriculum problem. It might just be the way it's presented to students. It might be the way the iReady or benchmark questions are asking it versus the way our textbook presents it. So those are things we can definitely help with, and that's something that we're going to focus on with our coaching and PLCs. That should drive our PLCs to the end of the year. And things like that. And then we had some principals already take the lead, and they actually made it kind of their starting point for their interventions. So when they revamped their interventions this last time, they made sure that those are the domains that they're tackling for those kids. So, and it's a lot in a short amount of time.
To piggyback on what Ms. Short-Reg was saying, she mentioned the word coaching a couple of different times. We had a meeting today with the Department of Ed, and there's a new initiative, it's Impact Plus. And what they're doing, it's really, it's going to, I think it's going to be very beneficial to us. They are paying for us to hire 2 additional ELA coaches and 2 additional math coaches. And they've divided the state into 5 areas, I believe it was, 5 areas. And each area will get the same type of opportunity that we're having. It's grant funded, but it looks like these positions are going to be very sustainable. It's one of the initiatives that the Department of Ed and the legislature really wants us to be able to have. So we're going to be able to hire 4 instructional coaches, 2 ELA and 2 math, and at no cost to us, and it doesn't reflect on our formula in terms of whether we're overstaffing or understaffing.
Those will be just for Lincoln County?
Just for
We don't
Lincoln
have to
County.
share 'em with
That's
them.
correct.
And they will work with the different schools
They will
and the
work-
different people who are working in that area.
They'll be working with adults, yes. They'll be utilizing their talents to work with some of our teachers, our younger teachers, and even our veterans, to just work with how to deliver these standards more effectively, or how to or support them in terms of, because a lot of times we too end up with we might end up with someone who's a long-term substitute or who is not fully certified in an area, and these people can step in and really deliver some strong academic support to these people. So we're excited to get it, to get that going. And we were, it sounded like it was optional, but for us, I don't think it's optional. I didn't want it to be optional. I wanted us to be able to have those people and those resources, especially when it's, it's not coming out of our coffers to help support these teachers. So.
Does anybody have any questions?
I looked through some of those, just skimmed through them. It looks like everyone was pretty engaged and. we
Yeah,
appreciate
there
that.
were a lot of good notes too that kind of told us, some of the teachers, for example, we saw a lot of the elementary level, they said need help with regrouping, like my kids are just not generalizing it, or a lot of people said they're not generalizing it and I'm having to move on because of the pace. So we gave them some ideas in our training and things. We had really great conversations. We have great teachers, great principals, but
Was
we
3
had.
hours enough time to?
Yes, I think it was a perfect amount of time, because that also gave them time to have PLCs and to really dive in. And then what our hope is that eventually for next year, that this is a running PLC and they really talk about how to dive into that cross-curricular collaboration piece of bringing in social studies for ELA and bringing in science for the math. Because one of the math points that was very common was analyzing data, which is in charts, variability. Well, that easily could be implemented across the board, and the more kids do it in multiple environments, the more they generalize. So,
And one of the things I found that, and I think Ms. Shortridge will agree, that was more beneficial to us in this particular case was the fact that, typically when you have PD, all these teachers sit together. All these teachers sit together from the same school. They don't step out of their comfort zone. Well, this was, if it was 3rd grade, it didn't matter where you taught. 3rd grade came to this table, 4th grade came to this table, 5th grade. So it was across the county, so that everybody speaking a common language and representing these situations the same way, so that we could have a common answer to the common question.
Did you all do that here?
we did it at the county table because we needed the space, because we brought in, it was almost 100 people for the morning session. And now the afternoon was very small because it was just middle school ELA and math teachers and special ed. We included special ed in it as well. So,
Well, good. Glad you got some good information out of it.
Thank you, Ms. Shortridge.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you guys. Gotta head out.
All right. We'll move on to item 5, just to approve the minutes for the March 3rd meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Barnes makes a motion.
I'll second.
Wilson seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mosteller, Wilson,
Yay.
and Cartwright's yay, that's 5-0. Moves us on to item 6 on the agenda. These are consent items A through E. Give you a minute to look over those, asking questions if you have any. I noticed Guyan Valley's going to a different location this year on their 8th grade trip. They went to Kings Island for every year.
Glen Jean.
Good. No one has anything, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion, we accept consent items.
Mosteller makes a motion.
I'll second it.
McComas seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Mosteller,
Yay.
Wilson,
Yay.
and Cartwright. Yay. 5-0. Takes us on to item 7. Policies going on for 30-day review. I don't think, we don't have any coming off a 30-day review. do we?
Not this time.
Okay. Those are located on the left-hand side of your packet.
Make a motion, we approve the 30-day review.
Mosteller makes a motion.
I'll second it.
McComas seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Cartwright's yay, 5-0. Item 8, allowed and authorized payment of bills. There is an attachment for that was sent to us prior to the meeting.
I'll make for that. I'll approve that
I'll
motion.
second.
Burns makes a motion, Wilson seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson,
Yay.
and Cartwright's yay, passes 5-0. And moves us on, sorry, I lost my place here. Financial request for approval. I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
McComas makes a motion.
I'll second.
Mosteller seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
and Cartwright. Yay, passes 5-0. Takes us on to item 10, the blue sheet, personnel. Next page over. You have a moment to look at that if you need it.
I'll make the motion to approve personnel.
Ms. McComas makes a motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. Burns seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas,
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson,
Yay.
and Cartwright's yay, passes 5-0. Brings us on to superintendent update.
Well, I kind of did that out of order. I was going to give an update on the coaches that we're going to be getting, but just to reiterate, I think that's going to be a wonderful addition for us. I can see that being very beneficial, especially to a couple of our schools that are not performing as well as others. Just to help, and it frees up the two coaches that we have on staff already. It frees them up to spend more time at the secondary level, which we haven't had. We haven't had that luxury. We've had to spread those folks pretty thin because you have Mr. Sansom trying to do math in all 6 schools or all 7 schools, and then you have Sarah trying to do ELA in all the schools, and it spreads it pretty thin. This way we can concentrate by programmatic level, and I think we're going to see some big improvement there with that. I will say that we've had a pretty good uptick in dropping that chronic attendance rate down. We're in the process now of doing some attendance hype videos. We've had several of the schools submit those, and we'll be putting those out and probably asking you all to help us judge the winning video. And then we'll be putting those, running those on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel as well as on our website. So we're real excited about those. And the ones I've seen so far, the kids have done a great job on those, just, about the importance of getting to school and doing what you need to do. First one I saw was Midway, and it really looked good. Those kids did a great job, and the staff did a great job. So we're real excited to get those rolled out so that everyone can take a look at those. So we do have some really good things happening. Today was kind of a crazy day to try to make a decision on what to do because we had Mr. Davis and I were over here super early this morning, and You know, out here, there was nothing on the road, and you go a mile up this direction, and it's just absolutely hammering the snow, and then you drive a quarter mile past that, and there was nothing. So it was, you know, one of those decisions that was just tough to make, but, you know, we got everybody in safely, and we got everybody home safely, and we were able to have school today, so that's one of the things that we strive to do. We were approved for the waiver. I'll let everybody know that. What that means at this particular point, all of the students' last day will be the same as it always was, May 29th. The staff members, we had 3 OS days in January and 1 in February, I believe it was. So they had to make so they've already been paid for those days, but didn't work them. So now they have to work them at the end of the year. One of the conditions on the waiver was how are we going to ensure that our 200-day employees complete their 200-day contract? And that's what we're doing. We're going to have professional development like this on those 4 days that we're making up at the end of the year. So the last day for staff at this point will be June the 5th. So that's,
The 29th, is that graduation day?
29th is graduation, yes. Yep. So we'll probably do an early release on that day. We've typically done that in the past, so that students and families can make it to Charleston.
That can make for a chaotic day at the high school.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes it can. So, and that's all I have.
All right, that takes us to agenda item 12, board member comments. No one have anything? I'll just say it, I appreciate Ms. Shortridge's presentation tonight. It's good to see that, looks like they got a lot of useful information out of that early out day.
She's got a strong team, and they work very hard.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea, the way that, coming to that cross curriculum, when you use a skill in different applications, and hit it from different angles, it really reinforces. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea, and yeah, I think she does it great. And the Duval School, a couple weeks ago, got a look at it with Mr. Don, really looks good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, we got some pictures today on it, and they're starting right now in some of the classrooms to actually put up the casework, the cabinetry and the countertops and things of that nature, and we'll be getting moving trucks before you know it. So,
One other thing, April 7th, we have a board meeting scheduled, that's spring break.
Yes.
So, do we want to have that meeting on spring break? Any issues with that?
I didn't know, we didn't know whether anybody's gonna be out of town, any of your families, or
I
planning on
won't
anything.
be, I don't know, I mean,
Well,
it doesn't matter to me.
we can postpone that one, or,
My bigger concern isn't the 5 of us, it's you all having to come in on spring break.
we're here anyway.
We're here,
Well,
yeah,
You know, but after hours and, you know.
right. But some of you have kids in school in spring break, and
Right.
that's why we wanted to bring that up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay with it if everyone else is. Is that our next meeting?
No.
We have another one in
Yeah, we have
March.
another.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to wait, maybe wait another week or so, kind of see if there's anything
Yeah,
pressing?
I mean, we don't have to make
Right,
a decision
yeah, you don't
tonight,
have to
this is
make a
just
decision
informational.
tonight.
Just kind of see if anything pressing that needs.
Yes.
We'll have a
address
board
the
meeting on the 31st of March, and you can make a decision.
Okay.
then.
Yeah, we can put it on the agenda for the 31st of March.
Yeah.
We don't have to put it on the agenda,
Okay.
so.
Robin, you were waving, was that what you had? Okay. All right.
There's a document, needs some signatures up there somewhere.
Yep.
Is that not yet?
Yeah, there it is.
Audit and engagement letter, part of that, I just took.
If they have anything else, I'll make a motion that we adjourn to Monday, March 23rd.
I'll second it.
Mosteller makes a motion, McComas seconds. Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. McComas?
Yes.
Mr. Mosteller?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
And Cartwright's yea. It's 5-0.
Time 6:25.